A very good morning to all of you. Myself, Dr. Varun Narayan Misra, and today we are going to discuss about some impacts of global climate change. In the last class, we have discussed about some basic concepts of climate change, some sources, different kinds of parameters which is required for the climate change studies, what is the need of climate change studies, and today we will discuss what are the impacts, or you can say what are the negative effects of global climate change. Before starting the topic, this is the overview of today's lecture. Okay, we will start with the causes of the global climate change, then what are the impacts of global climate change. It may affect the melting of ice, then there may be the effects of precipitation pattern. It also affects the organism, human health, agriculture, and after that we will see what are the solutions, or what may be the solutions to deal with such kind of global climate change. Okay, so this is the first and very important thing about the global climate change, or you can say the climate change is about the rising in the temperature. Okay, one of the most important, or you can say one of the uh, prime effect of global climate change is the increase in the annual global temperature. Okay, because of the global climate change, because of the global warming, or you can say because of the urbanization, pollution, the climate change is affecting the temperature, and the mean annual global temperature is continuously having rising. It is having the pattern which is rising day by day. So this graph, this figure is showing the graph between the year and the mean annual global temperature. So you can see here, starting from 1960 until 2010, you see the pattern of the temperature is increasing. Okay, it is increasing day by day, it is increasing year by year. So this is one of the most important effect of climate change. We can say that the climate change is very effectively it impacts the global temperature, and this graph is only for the 45 years. Okay, but when we see the a longer period of time, when we study the longer period of time, you see the climate change is affecting the temperature level of the earth, and the mean annual global temperature is rising year by year, day by day. That is because of the global warming, you can say, because of the air pollution, because of different kinds of pollutants coming from man-made sources or natural sources. So the rising temperature is one of the important impact of global climate change. Okay, so these are some of the important terminologies which is very much useful when we are going to study the climate change. Greenhouse gases, as we know that greenhouse gases are the major source of the increase in the temperature. Okay, they are a kind of gas, they can be absorbed by the infrared radiation. Okay, means the infrared radiation coming from the sun is absorbed or trapped by the gases, and these gases then release some part of the energy, some part of the radiation, and then it will heat up the atmosphere and environment. So carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, then tropospheric ozone, chlorofluorocarbons, these are the major sources of greenhouse gases. Okay, greenhouse gases are the major component, or you can say greenhouse gases are responsible for the global warming, and they are continuously increasing because of the rapid population, because of the air pollution, because of the vehicles and other activities. The concentration of greenhouse gases are increasing day by day, and that's why in the study of global climate change, or when we are going to study the climate change impacts, first we need to study the greenhouse gases and its impact. So these are the important terminologies. First one is greenhouse gas. Second one is positive feedback. Under this, we can study the changes in some of the conditions that triggers a response that intensifies the changed condition. What are the changing condition, and what are the factors who are increasing or who are promoting the changes? Then infrared radiation is very important. These radiations have a wavelength that is longer than that of the visible light, but shorter than of the radio waves. And this infrared radiation is coming from the sun. As we know that sun is a major source of different kinds of electromagnetic radiation, and infrared radiation is a part of electromagnetic radiation. And this infrared radiation is responsible for the increase in the temperature, because these radiations are easily trapped by the greenhouse gases. They can be trapped by the carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and because of this there are increase in the temperature. And greenhouse effect, there may be the increase of the heat in the system. System means we are talking about the atmospheric system. Okay, because of the absorption of infrared radiation, after some time when these gases will be released, so it increase the heat and temperature in the system or atmospheric environment where energy enters, and it is absorbed as heat and released sometimes later. So greenhouse gases, the positive feedback, infrared radiation, and greenhouse effect, these are the important terminologies and need to be studied before going for any climate change studies. Okay, so for climate change, we need to have some evidence. On the basis of some evidence or on the basis of some facts and patterns, we can easily say that whether there is a climate change or not. Okay, so 11 of the 12 years between 1995 and 2006 were among the 12 warmest years since the mid 1800s. Okay, starting from the 1800 time, the period between 1995 and 2006 were the amongst 12 warmest years, and phenological spring in the northern hemisphere now comes 6 days earlier. And warning is not due to the natural causes, because of different anthropogenic activities, because of the different human activities. There is a high concentration of greenhouse gases, and they are very much a plausible explanation for increase in the temperature or for climate change. Okay, so climate change is basically when we talk about the region or sources for climate change. So the anthropogenic activities are now having a very important role. Most of the greenhouse gases are now released by anthropogenic activities. Most of the air pollutants are now from different anthropogenic activities. So human induced greenhouse gases are now very much responsible for the global climate change. And because of this, the temperature is rising day by day, temperature is rising year by year, and it is expected to have increase in the global annual temperature of the earth is around 1.5 degrees Celsius, as per the latest report released by the IPCC. IPCC is a international body. It's an international organization who works in the climate change sector, who study the climate change impacts and different kinds of climate change scenarios. So as per the recent report released by the IPCC, International Panel for Continental Climate, Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. IPCC is the full form of IPCC is Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change. They released a report few days back, and they have mentioned that by the end of this century, 21st century, the global temperature will rise up to 1.5 degrees Celsius to 2 degrees Celsius. And because of this, there may be the increased rate of the melting of the glaciers, and some of the cities around the coast may be disappeared because of the rise in the sea level. Okay, so these are some of the greenhouse gases. These are the major greenhouse gases which are contributing in the higher concentration of greenhouse gases, and they are responsible for the greenhouse effect. Carbon dioxide is having the major role in the greenhouse effect, and then methane, nitrous oxide, chlorofluorocarbon 12, chlorofluorocarbon 11. Okay, so you see the level of concentration, it is increased. Before 2006 it was around 288 ppm pp per square meter, but right now it is increased up to 382. In case of methane, it is also increased at a high rate. Initially it was 848, but now in 2006 it was calculated as 1783 ppb. Nitrous oxide is also increased. Chlorofluorocarbon was zero. It was zero in before the climate change effect, but right now it is having 535 ppt. So these are the contribution. These are the contributing factors. These are different greenhouse gases. They are responsible for the climate change. They are responsible for the greenhouse effects. Okay. So because of these greenhouse gases, the increased concentration of carbon dioxide is very high, and one of the major responsible anthropogenic factor is the burning of fossil fuels. Okay, cars, industries, and homes. Okay, we know we use fossils. We use different kinds of energy sources in the industry and home. Okay, and the cars, vehicles are also releasing different kinds of different types of gases. So burning of fossil fuels in the industries, then home, cars are major source of the carbon dioxide, higher in concentration of the carbon dioxide. Deforestation and burning of forest. But these three are the major causes of the increased concentration level of carbon dioxide: burning of fossil fuels, deforestation, and burning of the forests. So you see the trend. Okay, when you see the trend, it is continuously increasing. The trend is continuously increasing starting from 1958 to 2006. You see the it is showing the continuous increasing trend, means the concentration of carbon dioxide is increasing year by year because of the higher rate of the burning of fossil fuels, because of the vehicles, pollutions coming from the vehicles, motor vehicles, industries, and some of the burning fossil fuels in the homes, then deforestation and the burning of the forest. These are the major contribution in the higher concentration of the carbon dioxide. Okay, so and in this figure is showing the greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect, as we know that the major responsible factor for greenhouse effect is the greenhouse gases. Okay, so these greenhouse gases are released by different sources. Different sources are responsible for the greenhouse gases. It may be having anthropogenic as well as the natural sources. Okay, so when these greenhouse gases will be released in the atmosphere, and the incoming solar radiation is absorbed by these gases. Okay, some part of the electromagnetic radiation or some portion of the energy coming from the sun is reflected back in the space, but some part of the solar radiation, that is, you can call it as a infrared radiation is absorbed by the greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere. Okay, and after absorption of these electromagnetic radiation, they release some part of the electromagnetic radiation after some time, and then that it will be responsible for the heating of the atmosphere. It will be responsible for the rising in the temperature. So atmosphere is having different kinds of gases. Atmosphere is having different types of pollutants, different types of layers. Okay, so one of the major important contribution for this greenhouse effect is the carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide traps or absorbs the electromagnetic radiation coming from the sun, especially infrared radiation. Then only some of the heat radiated from the earth escapes to the space, and these absorption are done by the molecules and dust particles in clouds present in the atmosphere. Different molecules and dust particles, they can also absorb the electromagnetic radiation coming from the sun. Okay, and some part of the heat is radiated from the earth, and that is absorbed by the carbon dioxide, and some of the heat is lower the atmosphere is transferred to the earth's surface. Okay, some part of the energy is released back in the space, but some part of the energy is released and it will transfer to the earth surface. That will increase the temperature of the earth, or you can see the temperature of the atmosphere or climate. Okay, so carbon dioxide is a major source of the absorbing the electromagnetic radiation, or you can say the infrared radiation coming from the sun. So this is the entire picture of the greenhouse effect. You see the major role of this green the major role in this greenhouse gas effect is by the carbon dioxide, because they can easily absorb the electromagnetic radiation coming from the sun, especially it you can say the electromagnetic sorry, this infrared radiation is responsible for the increasing of the temperature in the atmosphere. Other pollutants, some kinds of pollutants cool the atmosphere. The atmospheric aerosol tend to cool the atmosphere, both human and natural sources. Tiny particles that remain in the troposphere for weeks or the months. Okay, atmospheric aerosols are very tiny particles, and they are the particles made by different gases and water droplets. When gases and dust particles mix with the water droplets present in the atmosphere, they form the atmospheric aerosols. Okay, these are very tiny particles that remain in the troposphere for weeks or the months, and they contain many chemical components, but most of the important chemical component of the aerosols are the sulfur, and it is very complicated model for the climate change. We need to apply different complicated models for studying the climate change, different kinds of pollutants or different kinds of aerosol dust particles present in the atmosphere. Climate models are very much useful for studying the effects of climate change, studying the uh, trend and patterns of the climate change. As we know that climate is affected by the wind speed, cloud precipitation, ocean current, and the albedo. And these climate models consider all these factors which are responsible for any kind of climate change. And it is used to explore the past climate events, and it is very much advanced model that can project the future warning events. And these models, especially when we talk about the climate models based on different atmospheric parameters, these are the only good as the data and law used to program them. They have limitations. So climate models are affected, or you can say different factors are responsible for modeling the climate change effect. One of the important climatic factors are the wind speed, clouds, ocean currents, and the albedo. So these climate models also helps you to explore the past trend, and on the basis of past trend, you can predict the future scenario. You can predict the future condition of the climate in that area. Okay, so and right now different advanced climate models are available, and by using different climatic models, we can easily explore the impacts of the climate change. We can easily explore the future scenario of the climate change on the basis of the past climate change scenario, or on the basis of the past record of the climate change. So for climate change studies, generally we use a longer period of time, 100 years, 200 years, or 500 years data. On the basis of the longer period of time, the data which is based on the longer period of time, we can easily predict the future scenario. Okay. So for climate models, we divide the earth, or we divide the entire planet into a grid of 5 squares, and each square is layered into tiles. Each represent a precise sample of the ocean, land, or the atmosphere. So for studying the climate model, or for developing a new climate model, we need to incorporate different factors. We need to incorporate different data sets. It includes the ocean currents, land information, atmospheric condition, temperature, wind speed, precipitation, rainfall pattern. Each and every factors responsible for the weather, or each and every factor responsible for any kind of change on the earth may be considered into the climate models. And the climate data for a specific tile are fed into the computer, and the data from the adjacent tiles are factored in, and a climate model is created. Effects on the climate from the adjacent tiles. So the entire earth is divided into the grids, and when we consider, or when we select a specific grid, it means we are considering entire factors. We are considering different factors into that grid. It includes the ocean currents, data related to the ocean current, data related to the land, atmospheric condition, temperature, precipitation. Okay, all the factors will be incorporated to develop a climate model, and that will help us to forecast the future scenario. That will help us to predict the future climate change scenario on the basis of the past trend. Okay, so the effects of the global climate change, as we know that oceans are sinking, the carbon dioxide CO2 is sinked by the ocean, and because of the excessive concentration of carbon dioxide in the oceans, or in are affecting the ocean life, or affecting the living organisms of the oceans. Okay, so carbon dioxide is absorbed and sinked by the oceans, and because of this, the concentration of carbon dioxide is increased in the oceans, and because of this, the living organisms, the ocean life is strongly affected by these kind of higher concentration of carbon dioxide. So this is one of the important, you can say, this is the major impacts of the global climate change on the ocean life. Ocean life is affecting by the higher concentration of carbon dioxide that may be absorbed by the ocean. Okay. The effects of global climate change are also responsible for the high rate of the melting of ice and rising sea levels. Okay, because of the higher melting rate of the glaciers, because of the higher melting rate of ice caps on the poles, Antarctica, and because of this, the sea level is rising, and because of the sea level rising, there may be some possibility that some of the cities along the coast will be will be drawn and will be in the under the sea. And sea level rises caused in two different ways, that is having thermal expansion and the melting of the land ice. Melting has a positive feedback. Because of this, there may be the increased melting decreases the ice, which decreases the albedo, leading to the future warming. So this is another impact of the global climate change. Because of the global climate change, the ice is melting at a fast rate as normally. Okay, and because of this, there are continuous rise in the sea levels, and this rise in the sea level is threat to the cities along the coast, and it will be disappeared, or it will be in under the sea water after few years. So this is another negative impact of the global climate change. So you see here the figure. This is the photograph of a glacier captured in two different years. One photograph was captured in 1958, and another photograph was captured in 1998. You see the melting ice and the rising sea level, how they are connected with each other. In 1957, yeah, you can say there are high concentration of the ice. This is a higher, you can say, the glaciers are not melted before 1957, and in 1998 you see most of the ice is melted, most of the ice is disappeared. That is because of the melting of the ice due to the rise in the temperature of the atmosphere, or due to the global climate change. So you see the difference, how fast the ice is melting, and thus just between few years all the ice is melted in that glacier. Okay, and so because of this is a picture of only one glacier, but all over, when we see the overall scenario of all the glaciers, so it's a very alarming situation, it's very dangerous situation. Most of the glaciers are melting at a fast rate, and that's why there may be the possibility of the rise in the sea level, and this will be the threat to the cities along the coastal areas, coastal regions. Okay, so this is the impact in the fragile areas. Okay, this is the Eskimo institute life, traditional life desiccated by the freezing climate change is altering their existence. Okay, Eskimos. Okay, Eskimo is a traditional life, they are the person who live on the poles. Okay, some of the persons who live on the poles, they are under danger, and the climate change is altering their existence. The wildlife are smaller or displaced. Because of the global climate change, the snow cover is reduced and shorter the seasons of the river ice, and they are having thawing of the permafrost. Effect of the global climate change on the precipitation. Okay, so this climate change effect is also having on the precipitation patterns are also affected by the global climate change. Some of the areas will get more water, that lead to the flood, and some of the areas having very small amount of the water, that will be responsible for the drought. So most of the part of the world are facing both the conditions. Some portion of the earth having high amount of water, higher rainfall estimation, then there may be the condition of the flooding, and some part of on the earth having very small amount of the rainfall, very small amount of the precipitation, that is leading the droughts. So the flooding and drought conditions are directly affected by the change in the precipitation pattern. The precipitation pattern is changing day by day because of the global climate change, and this change in the precipitation pattern is responsible for the flooding condition in some part of the world and drought condition in some part of the world. Okay, so this is the effect of the global climate change. And global climate effect, the climate change is also affecting the living organisms, it is also affecting the life on the earth. Okay, so these are the some of the facts which is showing the how the global climate change is affecting the organisms. Okay, zooplankton in the part of the California, this current have decreased by 80%. Okay, phytoplanktons are living organisms, they are strongly affected by the global climate change. Decline in the rill around the Antarctica. Okay, species have shifted their geographical range and space. The different wildlife, animals, different living organisms, they have shifted from their place to another place because of the global climate change. They are not having sufficient amount of food and water, so they are shifting from one place to another place. Okay, birds are migrating. Birds are migrating from one place to one place. They are returning to the summer homes earlier because of the unavailability of the foods. Okay, so these are some of the impacts on the living organisms. These are some of the impacts of the wildlife, animals, and different living organisms. That is because of the global climate change. Coral reefs can be bleached due to the increase in the water temperature, and it affects the coral symbiotics and make them more susceptible to disease to which they would otherwise be immune. Okay. Coral reefs are the indicator of the sea health, the health of the sea and oceans. Okay, coral reefs are strongly affected by the rise in the temperature of the sea surface. Okay, so that sea rise temperature, the temperature in the rise in the temperature of the sea is because of the sink of the carbon dioxide. Oceans are absorbing, and there is a sinking process of the carbon dioxide by the oceans. Because of that, the temperature of the oceans are increasing, and they are affecting the coral reefs. Okay, coral reefs, you see the left side figure and right side figure. On the left side figure, these coral reefs are very colorful, and these coral reefs are the indicator of ocean health. Okay, if there is no coral reefs, so you can say there is a very poor quality of the ocean water or different kinds of you can say the factors responsible for the life. Coral reefs are the indicator of the health condition, or you can say the condition of the oceans. But because of the rise in the temperature of the sea, they are now having they are bleached, means they are just turned into the non-color coral reefs, and they are completely white because of the rise in the temperature. So this is the negative impact of the rising in the temperature of the oceans water. Okay, so these are the effects on the organisms, vegetation, beach tree range. So you see these, you see here the current range of the beach trees are was affected by the global climate change. It's a beach, it's a beach near to United States, and this beach is having a higher amount of the coral reefs. But right now, because of the rise in the temperature of the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the coral reefs are disappeared, or they have turned into the bleached coral reef, or having the white colored coral reef. Okay, so these are the impacts, or you can say the what are the effects of the global climate change on the human health. So because of the global climate change, there is an increased number of the patients having the heat related problems. Okay, heat related illness and the deaths are increased because of the rise in the temperature, because of the rise in the global climate change. Okay, so you see the number of diseases: malaria, dengue, okay, then yellow fever. These are different kinds of diseases, and all these diseases, the number of patients of these diseases have been increased due to the change in the temperature pattern, due to the change in the climate of that area. So this is the impact of the global climate change on the human health. Now there are another effect, there another possibility of the effect of the climate change on the agriculture. Okay, as we know that the global climate change is affecting the precipitation pattern, and agriculture is totally based on the availability of water resources. But because of the change in the precipitation pattern, there is a negative impact of the water resources, the availability of water resources, which is very much important for the agricultural practices. Okay, so it is very difficult to anticipate, and the productivity will increase in some areas and decrease in other areas. Some part of the earth is having good amount of the rainfall, they are having good productivity in the agriculture. Some part is having, some part of the earth is having very less amount of the agricultural productivity. And rise in the sea level will inundate floodplains and river valleys, and it is having the effects on the pest. Warmer temperature will decrease the soil moisture that requires more irrigation, and the location, for an example, elevation and altitude where certain crops can be grown, that may have to be changed. So this is the impact of the negative impact, you can say, on the agricultural productivity. Because of the rise in the temperature, soil moisture is decreasing, and if soil moisture is decreased, so it requires more irrigation, more irrigated water. And some part is under the drought condition, some part is under flooding condition. Both conditions are affecting the agricultural practices. In case of flooding, it is also affecting the agriculture. In case of drought, it is also affecting the agricultural productivity. Okay, so this is the way how we can see that global climate change is affecting the agricultural productivity, or it is affecting the agriculture and different kinds of productivity of the crops around the world. Okay, so these are some of the international implications of the climate change between the developed countries and the developing countries. So when we compare the implications, or when we compare the climate change initiatives done by different countries under the developing and developed countries, it is differing self-interest, and it is differing the ability to meet the challenges of the climate change. So you see the international when you talk about the climate change scenario, so most of the developing countries are in under threat to the climate change in respect to the developed countries, and developed countries are now having not much impact in comparison to the developing countries. So this is the international implication, different programs, different you can say the schemes launched by different countries of the world: United States, Canada, Japan, China, India. How they have initiated different schemes, how they have initiated different programs to reduce the emission of the carbon dioxide. Okay, for removing or for reducing the effect of the climate change, first we need to work on the reduction of the emission of carbon dioxide. If we can reduce the emission of carbon dioxide, so definitely we can reduce the effect of the climate change. Okay, so this is the graph showing most part of the mostly different countries around the world. They are having some different initiatives. They have some different programs implemented for reducing the emission of carbon dioxide that will ultimately affect reduce the climate change impacts. Okay, so to deal with the global climate change scenario, we have to avoid the worst climate change condition. The concentration of carbon dioxide must be stabilized at 550 ppm, that is having 50% higher than the current level. Two ways to attempt the manage climate change: mitigation and adoption. for managing the climate change or for reducing the effect of climate change, we need to focus on the two steps. We need to focus in two steps: mitigation and the adaptation. Under mitigation step, we have to focus on the limiting the greenhouse gas emission to moderate the global climate change. And under the adaptation scenario, we have to focus on the learning to live with to the environmental change and the societal consequences brought about by the global climate change. So we can deal with the global climate change, but first we need to work on the reduction of the global concentration of the carbon dioxide, and then we can have two ways to attempt to manage the climate change impacts: mitigation and the adaptation. So this is all about the impacts of the global climate change on the uh, agriculture and human health. And the remaining part of today's lecture will be discussed in the next class. So this is all about the negative impacts of the climate change and how different kinds of initiatives have been launched by different developing and developed countries to reduce the effect of global climate change. The remaining part of the today's lecture will be discussed in the next class. Okay, so thank you very much for today's class. And in the next class, that is tomorrow, we will discuss the remaining part of this lecture, and we will see more insights about the impacts of global climate change on different environmental factors, different factors, different kinds of living organisms, and other things. Thank you very much.